Roger, while you're waiting for people, can I ask you a question, a general question?
Sure.
If someone really wanted to get better at bridge, and I'm talking about myself, and I just find it sometimes so
Yeah, I
frustrating.
mean, you're asking for a friend, right?
Yeah, for a friend of mine who's struggling. You know, sometimes we come in first, sometimes we come in last, and we just can't seem to get it. What is the magic formula? Should we be playing more tournaments, playing more, you know, solitaire online, studying the books that we've already, you know, taken classes from? I never know how to balance, you know, and what's going to actually help me improve my game.
Oh, all of the above. I think you knew that, right?
I did, but is there like, should I be doing more of one than the other? Because
Yes and no.
yes, no, play against good opponents. I'll quote Zia Mahmood, who's you know, a longtime world champion, famous bridge player. He's often asked, how do I get to be a better bridge player? And his answer was always to play against opponents who are slightly better than you for stakes that are slightly more than you can afford. And I get that, but you know, nobody plays for real stakes these days. So it's I will say I think the thing to do is to actually play in more open games and against good opponents, and that will improve your bridge. And I know it's scary, but if you go in fearlessly, it's the way to do it. I have to do this here for a
Exactly
second.
what I was wondering about, you know, maybe a combination of newcomer games and open games, or maybe, you know, 499ers or something instead of 99ers, just to get to the next level of competition.
That's exactly it. Yeah.
All you have to lose is your $5 or $8 or whatever you pay.
Yeah,
exactly. You know.
Cheapest bridge lesson you can get.
And you're, you know. So.
Yeah, but play in the open games once in a while. Yeah, that'll be good.
Thank you.
Have we got a few? Yeah, we've got 10 people here. Everybody else is waiting for the recording. I'm actually at Moonstone Beach this morning. I'm looking out at the ocean, and if the wave sound comes through, it's either that or passing traffic, but I do have the window cracked. I'm going to share my screen, and we're going to talk a little more about finesses in this sense. What we've been talking about were repeated finesses and regular finesses. I want to look at finesses against two cards. Look at the spade suit here in this case. We're missing two cards, the king and the jack. Either one could be in either hand. There are actually four possibilities, and I'm going to go through them all right now. If we lead the two, the small spade right here, I have my choice of cards to play. The ace can't be right. This is a finesse. We want to try something else. The queen will certainly win a trick if the king is on this side. When would the 10 win a trick? The 10 will win a trick if both the king and the jack are in this hand. And that's actually 25% of the time. The thing is, once it works, of course, we have to repeat it. We have to do it again because we can't lead the queen now and have it win a trick. So we'll cross back to our hand in a diamond. And then I'm going to lead a spade. And this time the queen wins the trick. Now we don't have to use up any entries at this point. We can just play our ace and it wins the trick. Looking at all the cards, if I start from the beginning with this hand and show where all the cards are, we can see that the king and the jack were both over here on the west side. Now that's one of four possibilities, right? There's two cards involved here, the king and the jack, and 25% of the time they'll both be on this side. The mistake you could make when you play the first card, you lead low towards the ace, queen, 10. If you don't play the 10 now, it's the only chance we have of getting three tricks in the suit. I'm going to mute everybody just to cut down background noise. If you put in the queen now, it will certainly win. it will certainly win. But now you have no chance of winning a trick with the 10. And let me show you what I mean. We'll come back to our hand with the king of diamonds. And now when I lead another spade, West here, being a good defender, they know to split their honors. They're going to put in one of their two missing honors. And now you're forced to play the ace. And now, of course, your 10 cannot win the trick because the king is high. So that's just one of the 4 possibilities. I'm going to reset the hand and show all the cards. Another 25% of the time, we'll have both the king and the jack in the right-hand side. They're both over here now. And now, of course, nothing works. Let's start the play. And we'll see that, of course, now the 10 loses to the jack. We still don't know where the queen is, I mean the king rather, but we can win a trick with the diamond in our hand, and I can lead another spade, put in the queen, and nothing works. So 25% of the time that will be the case. We only get one trick. Well, that's 2 of the 4 possibilities. What about the others? Let's look at this again. Suppose the king is on our right. I just moved it. And the jack is on our left. So now when we lead low from our hand and we put in the 10, it loses to the king. This is a really happy time because now we have no finesse that we need to take. The ace and the queen are both high. We can just win our tricks. So backing up to the start again, the other possibility is that the jack is on our right and the king is on our left. So if this is the case, when we lead low to the 10, it loses to the jack. They return a diamond because that's all I gave them. I'll win it in my hand with the king. And I'm winning it in my hand intentionally because I do have to repeat the finesse. The only way I can now get 2 tricks is by coming back toward the ace queen, playing my queen and hoping that the king was on this side of the table. And so that's all 4 possibilities. So you can see that if you come to this the first time around and you have this combination, the ace queen 10 on one side, you lead from the other side of the table, your only chance for getting 3 tricks is to put in the 10 on the first trick. And it'll only work 25% of the time. But the cool thing is that 75% of the time, you can get at least 2 tricks. And that's the key. Let me show you another finesse involving 2 cards. I'm going to put up this combination. The spades are what we're looking at here. I have the king, jack, 10. What I'm missing are the ace and the queen. Now I'm always losing the ace. That can't be helped. But what I would like to do is not lose a trick to the queen if I can. I'm on the wrong side of the table because my high cards are in my hand. I have to cross over to the other side of the table. I put these diamonds here just for that possibility. So let's lead a spade. What's the right card to play here? If I put in the king, it might win if the ace is over here, but that would be the only trick I get. Need to put in the 10 and see if it loses to the ace. Now what happened there is that we had a successful finesse against the queen. And now our king and jack, well, they're not high, but interestingly enough, the robot led back a spade. So that gave us both of our tricks. And now we got the king and the jack. If the robot had returned a diamond rather than a spade, we would have to win in our hand and repeat that finesse in order to pick up the queen and with our king and jack. There's one more combination that is, again, one of my favorites, and that's the ace, jack, 10. This time the missing cards are the king and the queen, of course. And once again, there are 4 possibilities for where those king and queen are. We can have both of them on this side. We can have both of them on this side. The king over here, the queen over here, or the queen over here and the king over here. The cool thing about this combination is that 75% of the time we can get 2 tricks, not just one. We're always getting 1. You can't really ever get 3 because a good defender, when you lead low from your hand, they will split their honors. And that guarantees that you can't win 3 tricks. that means you now have to cover the queen with your ace. And now, of course, you can just use promotion to develop a second trick. Our 10 is now promoted into a winner. So we won 2 tricks in this spade suit. But my favorite possibility is when one of the cards is in the other hand. I just moved the queen from west over to east here. And in this instance, when I lead a low card from my hand and west plays low, I put in the 10 and it loses. The first finesse loses. Once again, the silly robot leads a spade back, so it doesn't really show my point. But in fact, let me replay that without the robots so we can see what's going on here. I lead a small one, and West splits their honors, and the 10, I have to play the 10, of course. Oh no, I don't have to play the 10, excuse me. I can win the ace. Once again, let me start this over, and what I was going to do is move one of the honors to the other side of the table. That's what I meant to do. So I can lead from my hand, West plays low, I put in the 10, and it loses to the honor that East has. Now, when you see the king or the queen show up in the East hand like that, there's a law, it's called the law of restricted choice, that says the odds are in favor of the missing honor. It's actually 2 out of 3 cases, is in the other hand. So the second finesse, once the opponents lead back the diamonds and I win it in my hand, the second finesse has it's not a 50-50 finesse, it's like a 66% finesse on your side. And if we lead a small honor and West plays low, our jack is more likely to win a trick. Now, that's 66%. That still leaves 33% where that's not going to be the case. If both the king and the queen are on our right, we're only getting 1 trick in this suit. But the fact that 75% of the time I have the chance of getting 2 tricks in this suit means this is just a favorite combination. Whenever I see the ace jack 10 on one side of the table, that's exactly what I want to happen. This is the case where it's not going to work, of course. When I lead the finesse again over to my jack, it fails a second time, and that's how life goes sometimes. I want to show you how this works in an actual hand. I'm going to put up a hand, and I'm going to bid and play this hand. Our right hand opponent opens the bidding 1 diamond. With our hand here, I'm going to bid 1 spade. It goes pass, and our partner says 2 spades, and it goes pass, pass, pass. Now, our opponent on the left leads their partner's suit, and it comes down, it's the queen of diamonds. So let's talk about the analysis of this hand in the time I've got left. We're in a contract of 2 spades, so I can afford 5 losers. In spades, I've got no losers, got everything. In hearts, I have 2 losers in my hand. I have the ace to cover 1 of my 3, so I have 2 losers remaining. In diamonds, I have 2 losers, and the clubs, for planning purposes, I also have 2 losers. I could possibly lose to the king and the queen. Well, that's 6 losers. That's 1 too many. So let's see how it would go. My plan now is to try and eliminate one of the club losers by doing repeated finesses against the king and the queen. The repeated part is key there, because in order to repeat those finesses, I have to get to the dummy side of the table to lead clubs towards my honors. And I have exactly 2 entries, the ace of hearts and the queen of spades. And those are the only 2 opportunities I have to get to the dummy to play these. That's assuming that my king of diamonds doesn't win right now, and I'm afraid that's going to be the case. If I play low, I'm going to let the queen win. They're going to come back with a jack, and it's still going to win. And then they're going to lead another low one because the ace is over on my right, and I'm going to trump this one. So I'm in with my first spade trick. Let's draw the trump, but I'm doing them in a way that I'm planning to win my 3rd trump in the dummy, because I know I need to be there to start those club finesses. So I'm going to lead 10 of spades over to the queen, and now I'm in the dummy for the first time. I must lead clubs now. If I do anything else, leading the king is hopeless, the king of diamonds, because the ace is on my right. I'm going to take that club finesse, and it loses to the queen. Well, West now, they've run out of diamonds. So they can't, and they've done no better than to lead a club. So now I'm going to win this heart trick with the ace. I'm now in the dummy for the last time. And here I'm going to take my second club finesse. What I have to hope for is that over on the right-hand side is that missing king of clubs right there. And my jack of clubs wins the second club trick, and I'm now home free. The trumps are all drawn. I've won 6 tricks. Here's my 7th trick. And I'm going to lose 2 hearts, but I've got my 8th trick right here in the jack of spades, and the contract runs home. So that's a way to use this finesse with ace jack 10 is my favorite combination. And that's all I'm going to do for this morning. And I will ask if I've got any questions. And go ahead and unmute yourself if you have questions. And
Mojo, good morning. This is Gulshan. Quick question. You referred to a law of restricted choices. What I understood that if you're missing 2 honors and one shows up, a third of the percent time, that honor will be this with the same hand which played the honor.
yes.
And 2/3 of the time, it's going to be the opposite way. Is
Yes.
that okay? Thank you.
It's also called the Monty Hall problem, which is you have to pick door number 1, 2, or 3. And so you pick a door, say you pick number 1, and then he shows you number 3, and he shows you that number 3 was not the grand prize. And then the question is, then he offers you money to switch or not. Should you switch to number 2? And the thing is that when he chose a door, his choices were restricted. Unless you had already chosen the grand prize, he had to choose the door that wasn't the grand prize to show you. So 66% of the time, the answer is correct. You should switch to the other door. And it may not look exactly like the Monty Hall problem, but it is exactly the same thing. It's a restricted choice issue. Thanks for the question.
Thank you. Modi, is it Modi Hall? M-O-D-I?
Monty Hall, it probably dates me. It comes from a TV game show called Let's Make a Deal. It's still on. He was the host at the time in the 1980s and 90s.
All right, thank you.
M-O-N-T-Y, Monty Hall. I mean, most of my audience here recognizes the name. Okay, we've got a bridge game at 10 o'clock, and I hope to see you all there. Thanks all for coming.
Thank you.
Mojo.
Thank you, Mojo, for your help.
Thanks, Mojo.
Bye-bye, everybody.